ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the space, to this channel, our Business Hub UG. We are glad to have you back. And today we want to talk about the things that are important for you to know before you choose to actually invest in Uganda. I hope you watched the previous episode where we talked about the beauty of investing in Uganda and the opportunities that are available. In this episode, it's important for us to dive into the things that are really important that you need to pay attention to before you actually put that money in Uganda. The first thing to actually pay attention to is the economic overview of the country. Uganda itself is relatively a growing economy and with a great focus on agriculture, industry, then service. So as you make a choice, it's important for you to know which sector you're going to, but also to pay attention to what the country itself is focusing on. We are doing a lot of promotion of agriculture, knowing that it is the backbone of this country. And then we are also looking at industrialization. For many of us, we might have had or we are familiar with what we call Bobo, Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, as one of the things that the country is currently encouraging. And as a result, there are so many opportunities in that industry. There are a lot of incentives that the government is giving. And then the government has also been implementing a lot of reforms to be able to attract foreign investment. I would recommend that we reach out and then go to the Uganda Investment Authority website and get or familiarize ourselves with some of these things. It's also key for you to pay attention to the legal and the regulatory framework of this country. Now, you need to familiarize yourself with things or the laws that surround doing business in Uganda, including the company registration, the taxation bit of it, the employment law, the labor laws, because you're going to do this business and you will need to employ people. So it is important that you familiarize yourself with some of those laws so that you're not gotten on the wrong side of the law, because it comes with heavy penalties and then it could disorganize your business. Another thing that I feel it's important for us to pay attention to as an investor when you're coming to Uganda is the investment incentives that are available. Uganda offers various incentives to be able to attract foreign investment in the country. It's important that you check with the Uganda Investment Authority for the latest information that is in there. Among the incentives that are given into the importation, especially if you're importing raw materials, if you have an industry here, if you're doing if you're doing exportation, we have the export promotion that is currently happening where the country is promoting a lot of value addition on its goods. So there are so many incentives that are existent in that sector. You have the export sector, you have the agriculture, you have the tourism, the areas that the country is focusing on currently. There are so many incentives that are given in there. And I feel it's important that you pay attention to this because it helps reduce on your costs that you know very well. And it will help you know, because if a part of the cost is already cut off for you, then why not take up the opportunity? Of course, some of the incentives that are also given include the electricity, a bit of it for the industrial parks, that the tariff rates on electricity are a bit reduced. So look out for the incentives, look out for the raw materials that you're going to require to be able to invest in that business that you're going to invest in while in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, the other key thing that I feel that we need to pay attention to is for you to do your market research. It is very common for people to wake up and say, because someone has talked about a particular business, then suddenly, yes, you pick the vibe for it. But it's very important that you do your market research. Market research focusing on things like the competition, who are the people, who are the other investors in the sector that you want to come to. Check out maybe their stories, check out their products, check out what are they offering that you want to do different. The importance of doing this research is for you to be able to know how best to place yourself in the market above your competitors, and to also learn from maybe what they have gone through, because some have shared their challenges. It's important so that you get to know the challenges or the problems that are affecting your sector. And then it's also important that you do this research for you to be able to understand the demand of the product that you're going to deal in, or the services that you're going to offer. Ladies and gentlemen, I know on rare occasions, maybe if we are dealing with the non-profit organizations and then the NGOs, that's when we begin focusing on things where you're not focused on the profit bit of it. But for as long as you're looking at doing business and your intention is to offer service and also be able to make the profits out of it, it's very key that you understand and you do this research, because you need to get to know the demand. You don't want to start a business and along the way you realize the market is not as what you thought. The projections are not as what you thought. So invest in research, invest in knowledge, invest in getting all this information, because at the end of it all, it influences the long run and the long existence of your business. Another key thing that know, or I feel we need to actually focus on, is the workforce. We know the country, Uganda, as Uganda has the youngest population maybe in the world. If we are looking at maybe 60 to 70% of the population are young people, they are youths. So they are young people, meaning you're going to have a lot of energetic resource to work with, which is a plus, which would be a plus for your business. But then you also need to look at the labor laws that surround the market. It's important to pay attention to them. The minimum wage, the minimum salary, how much are you able to pay the people that are going to be working for you? What is the availability of the skill that you actually want to invest in that industry that you're bringing in the country? Paying attention to all those things helps you make sure that you have the rightful labor force, to make sure you have whether skilled or unskilled. That is very key. But the assurance, or the good news is Uganda as a country has the cheapest labor that you'll ever find across the region. So because we have a lot of youth, we have a lot of there's a lot of unemployment. The people are more than the jobs that are available currently as we speak. So you have very many people that are looking for the jobs. The skill, you'll be assured of skilled labor, skilled or knowledgeable, because we have a lot of graduates that are leaving the country. We have so many universities that are producing a lot of professionals in the country, Uganda, and that will be an opportunity for you in the labor force. What other thing do we pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen? I think it's also important for us to pay attention to the currency. Well, knowing that Uganda's major currency that we use is the Ugandan shillings. And then depending on which country you're coming from and how you're trading, most of us end up trading in maybe US dollars, euros, or whatever currency, any other currency that you want to trade on. So it's important for you to actually evaluate how the currency that you are trading in, or your currency that you are more familiar and dealing with, how much it moves with the Ugandan currency, and then the inflation bit that comes into affect this currency when it comes to the exchange rate bit of it. And that also involves paying attention to the banking sector, because it's the financial services, it's the currency, it's the banking. And I feel it's important because you will need to get, once in a while, you will need to get funding. Maybe you have all the funds, but it's very uncommon that while we're investing, someone has all the capital. So sometimes once in a while, you will need to be able to revamp your business, to have the loans come in. You need, which bank are you going to be banking with? Now, if you're a foreigner and you're coming in the country and investing here, sometimes you will need the profit, the re-expatriation of your profit back home, and the sending of the currency. Some of the businesses, okay, you may be in actually a multinational where you have to open up branches, where you coming to Uganda means actually not starting afresh, but because you're opening up a branch. So there's always that transfer of currency across the branches and all that. And then it's also one of the requirements, the legal requirements as you register your business, that you need to have a bank account. So you will need to know which banks actually work best for you. So it's important that you pay attention to that. Eighth, the other key thing that I feel is important for us to focus on as we make the choices to come and invest in this country is the business relation. Networking is a very, very key thing when it comes to this country. It's more of the relations that you build. I can tell you that I have done businesses and I still do business, but most of the people that end up buying my products or that I offer a service to, my biggest clients are people that I have either built relations with, either I have studied with, I have worked with, I have met a long way in my life. They are part of my family, or they are people that I have offered a service, and then I have interacted with them and they have come back, or they have referred people to me to be able to take on my services. So looking and paying attention to the business relation is very key. What relation do you have with the people, with the clients? I'll start with the customers. What relations do you have with your workers? What relation do you have with maybe the people in authority? Build a positive relationship. Concentrate on building relations that matter. It doesn't hurt, ladies and gentlemen. You are in business, you're a company owner. Once in a while, once you arrive early at your work, interact with your workforce, interact with your employees, have those chit chats. You will be able to pick so much, because there's so much information that happens during the informal discussions. Throw parties once in a while. Yes, it will cost you, but I tell you, as you interact with these people, you will learn so much, because once people are relaxed, they are able to give you much more feedback about your business. And these will be opportunities to help you also improve for those that are actually in the business and those that are coming in. That's an important thing to pay attention to: business relation and networking. I would encourage that if you choose an industry that you want to invest in, if you choose a business that you want to venture in, most of these businesses have associations. Most of these businesses do conferences. Most of them actually do workshops. So go to these workshops, build these networks, because they are very key, they are very important. One thing I have realized with Uganda, or it could be with, which may be common with other countries, that when you join forces, even if you're putting forward, you're advocating for something as an industry, it is easier for it to be granted when it is a joint team than having to do things individually. So look out for the associations that fall in the industry that you are choosing to invest in, or you're coming to invest in. Tenth, I think we also need to pay attention to the cultural sensitivity. Cultural sensitivity, because every country has its own, or every society has its own norms. Every society has its own cultures. So it would be appropriate, if you want to invest in the central region, understand what's the culture that surrounds that region, what's the culture that surrounds consumption of some goods in this country or in the region in which you're targeting. Understand what cultural norms actually go on and affect the business that you will need to do. I'll give you an example. It's common that maybe backcloth, you want to go and get the trees and deal in backcloth. Okay, according to what happens in Uganda, in the central region, you will find more market for that backcloth, as opposed to you going to the western region, and then you have your backcloth, and you're setting up maybe a store or an industry for backcloth. Backcloth is commonly used in the western in the central region. The same thing happens if you want to set up maybe a dairy, or maybe a dairy industry. You will have a lot, because milk is something that is associated maybe more with the West, because that's where we have the greatest cattle keepers. So you will find that your raw materials and the inputs will be cheaper while you are there, even when your market is in the central all over, or where your market is, depending on the population. So pay attention to the culture and the sensitive things from the culture that affect your business before you actually choose to invest, and the location of your business in this country. Another key thing that we don't need to leave behind or not to talk about will be the technology bit of it. Technology adoption is very key. We very well know that in Uganda currently, Uganda's adoption to technology and data and use of data has grown so much over the last 10-15 years, and it's beginning to grow. So it's important for you to pay attention to how technology affects your business, okay, and how much you will need in, say, data, how much you will need in the marketing bit of it, because that is very key. We realize I have seen a great growth in online business, what we call e-commerce. So you will need to do a lot of marketing of your products digitally. You need to do a lot of online marketing. So it's important to also consider how much media, data, and technology affects your business. And also technology can be also in an element of the technology that you will actually need to be able to bring out that product. Is it a product that you're going to just produce with less technology involved? Because some actually evolve over time. So pay attention to that. And two more things I feel that are very key for us to pay attention to. One being the environmental and the social impact. We know that as the country, we have laws, we have policies that govern the environment. It's important for you to know the effect of your business on the environment, on the people that surround where you want to put your industry, and then be able to do the necessary environmental analysis. We have NEMA, which is a body that governs the environmental bit of it, that governs environment in Uganda. Beware of the environment and the social impact of your business, the sustainability, then look at the corporate social responsibility, which, because all these things are becoming increasingly important in this country. So pay attention to that. And last but not the least, do not forget to pay attention to the political stability. We thank God, and Uganda is a very stable country, has generally been stable. It's essential to stay informed about any political developments that keep coming up. It's important for you to pay attention to the change of power. It's important for you to pay attention to the political situations that keep evolving. It's very important for you to pay attention to that. Ladies and gentlemen, before starting a business and expanding business in Uganda, it's very advisable, and I would advise that you consult the local experts, look at the legal professionals, look out for business advisors, because they have known these spaces, they have operated, they know the do's and the don'ts, they know the challenges, they know the opportunities that exist in this market. As you plan to invest, wish you all the best and welcome you to Uganda, because it's a place where you need to put your finances. Ladies and gentlemen, till next time, let's keep glued. Remember to subscribe and keep watching.